Unit 8. Word list. Congested. If something is congested, it is full or blocked.
Tom didn't get home until after dark because the road was so congested.
Courier. A courier is someone who takes and delivers mail or packages.
Before trains, most couriers used horses to travel.
Deform. To deform something means to change it from its correct or original shape.
The computer program deformed the building's picture into an unreal sight.
Etiquette. Etiquette is the group of rules about how to be polite.
When in Asian countries, bowing is a form of etiquette.
Exclusive. If something is exclusive, it is expensive and only for rich people.
The golf course was so exclusive that most people hadn't even heard of it.
Freight. Freight is a set of items carried on a train, boat, or airplane.
Trade ships only carried valuable freight like silk and spices.
Garment. A garment is a piece of clothing.
The businessman had all of his garments cleaned before the important meeting.
Insomnia. Insomnia is a condition in which a person has difficulty sleeping.
Nate's insomnia prevented him from getting enough rest.
Intuitive. Intuitive is knowing about something without naturally having support or proof.
Rhonda had an intuitive feeling that Shane wasn't coming to school today.
Liable. If something is liable to happen, it is very likely that it will happen.
During the summer months, hikers in the forest are liable to see deer and elk.
Obsess. To obsess about something means to think about it all of the time.
After watching the Star Wars movies, Ike obsessed about becoming a Jedi.
Overboard. When something is overboard, it is over the side of a boat and in the water.
Tom and Gary slipped on the wet floor and fell overboard.
Premium. A premium is a payment that is higher than average.
Tony paid for premium gas because it made his car run the best.
Privilege. A privilege is a special right given to only a certain person or group of people.
Only the best employee had the privilege of parking in that spot.
Propel. To propel something means to push or move it somewhere.
The strong wind propelled the leaf through the air and across the street.
Socialize. To socialize is to have a good time with people.
I like to socialize with my classmates after school.
Suppress. To suppress something means to prevent it from happening.
She suppressed her urge to scream because she didn't want to be noticed.
Tram. A tram is a vehicle like a streetcar that runs on electricity above ground.
I took the tram to 8th Avenue.
Unsettle. To unsettle someone means to make them anxious or worried.
The dark clouds in the sky unsettled Beth.
Warp. To warp means to become bent into the wrong shape.
The woman put the clock above the fireplace, and the heat warped it. Watch out. Kevin stepped off the tram and walked toward the ship, holding a package tightly in his hands. He had been hired as a courier for an important broker. All he needed to do was deliver a package to an office in New York City. The ship would take him there. When he boarded, the ship was congested with people. As Kevin walked to his cabin, he saw the exclusive first-class section. Everybody inside was wearing fancy garments. He would have liked to socialize with the people inside, but it was against proper etiquette. People paid a premium for the privilege to ride in first class. Instead, he went to his cabin next to the freight section of the boat. His room smelled bad, and the floorboards were warped and deformed in some areas. He could also hear the motor humming as it waited to propel the ship forward. Suddenly, Kevin was unsettled by something, but he wasn't sure why. He took a short walk on the ship's deck, but he still felt strange. That night, he suffered from insomnia. He couldn't suppress his obsessing over how strange he felt. Kevin went back on deck. It was cold and dark outside. He looked overboard, but it seemed that everything was all right. Just go back inside, he thought. Then Kevin saw it. A giant iceberg was sticking out of the ocean in the distance. "Help!" he yelled. People looked at him as if he was crazy, but he continued to shout until he saw the captain. "There's an iceberg out there," Kevin said to him. "If the ship doesn't move, we're liable to crash," he said, pointing toward the iceberg. The captain saw it and immediately instructed the crew to change the ship's direction. "Without your help, we would have definitely hit the iceberg. That would have been a terrible disaster," he said to Kevin. Kevin felt relieved. Now he knew to always trust his intuitive sense.